So here we are with a review of the 2021 edition of The Red Goddess by Peter Gray, and it's a beautiful, beautiful edition. I have not seen the original editions, the ones that came out over 20 years ago. The Red Goddess was actually the very first book written by Peter Gray, and it was the reason why Scarlet Imprint started in the first place. And as we know, they've grown to become, if not the, at least one of the greatest, best respected occult publishing houses in the world, with definitely some of the most beautiful editions out there. And it's quite a privilege actually to be able to get my hands on such a wonderful object. Now I'll talk about exactly what this is about in a moment, but first of all let me just spend a little bit of time gushing over the form here. It's the slipcase is cloth bound. It feels really very, very high quality. These beveled edges. I seem to be having a little problem with my focus this evening. Sorry about that. The material with which it's bound feels tight, and it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, if that makes any sense. It's if you can hear that, it's yeah, it's solid material, let's put it that way, and then that really lovely gold stamp on the front there, which looks really gorgeous. So nothing on the edges, just as you might expect. There's this great ribbon device which allows you to actually single-handedly pull out the book like that, just as you pull on the ribbon, and so that's quite a nice touch. And you just put that to one side, and here is the book itself. Now this is possibly the one down point that I would say is that they've gone for the dust jacket. They've gone with this red tracing paper, and in principle it's a really nice idea. In practice, well, the front, yeah, it's quite nice. You can kind of see that gold stamp coming through in transparency, so that works quite well. The spine, however, as you can see, it's not flush. It's never going to be flush. You'd have to push down on it in order to be able to see the title there. So as it's sitting on the shelf, it just looks like a red book, and that may very well be the intention, and you know, absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think that if it weren't combined with the fact that it's tracing paper, and therefore just holding it for even a couple of minutes makes it warp, right? The humidity in my hands just naturally makes the tracing paper warp. It's what happens naturally to tracing paper, much more easily than any other kind of paper. And so I think that once I've finished with this review, I may very well dispense altogether with this dust cover. I'm sure that the book will lose some of its value, but as I'm not intending to get rid of it, that's absolutely fine. Now, once we take the dust cover off, the book itself reveals itself, and as you can see, it's just beautiful. It's silk covered, and this gold stamp is flawless, absolutely perfect. There we are, and you can see the spine there, the Scarlet Imprint, and the title right there. There's nothing on the back, and let me show you the edges, which are gilded Really, really a beautiful edition. Now, there are several editions in this 2021 version, in the second edition. So this one, which is kind of the second nicest. The nicest is the Mother of Pearl edition, which is not out yet. Those fine editions come out usually 2 or 3 months after the regular hardcovers come out. This is known as the Rose edition, so it's a rather small number of copies. Let me see if I can find the exact number. Here it is. So 156 roses of which this is number 103. There will be 77 Mother of Pearls, bound in full scarlet morocco and housed in a clamshell box. Reading those descriptions on their website always makes me dream. And then the Pearl edition. Now, I admit that I spent ages trying to decide whether I would go with the Rose edition or the Pearl edition. That Pearl edition is also absolutely stunning. I mean, yes, you know, Scarlet Imprint really have made a name for themselves for making some of the most beautiful books in the industry, and there's no question, you know, they have knocked this one out the park once again. What else can I tell you? If you buy the book directly through Scarlet Imprint, you get these two lovely documents at the front. So this Ex Libris, which I've shown to you from previous books that I've bought from them. This spirit of heretic books, I suppose. Very cool. Letterpress printed. Very, very nice. You can feel the embossed nature of the paper there. It's very, very cool. And then this is their new bookmark, which I've actually been using rather than the scarlet ribbon here. That thelemic themed bookmark. It's quite nice. There we are. As we go into the book, so yeah, the Rose editions are signed by Peter Gray. So that's very lovely. And I'll show you the table of contents, although they won't necessarily mean very much. Those titles tend to reveal their meaning as you read the chapters themselves. So what's the book about? The book is, okay, you could say it's a love letter from Peter Gray to the Red Goddess, to Babylon. The whore of Babylon, who is revealed in the Book of Revelations, and it's where to even begin. First of all, I'd like to talk about the style. This is absolutely approachable, and I am so grateful to Peter Gray for having made this book for people, right? For readers, not just to please himself with long-winded phrases and with flowery language, but actually to give people an impression of his understanding of this very controversial figure. He's very early in his writing career, and it's quite lovely actually the way Alcestis, who writes the foreword here, talks about his well, the way they discussed what if they should change anything or anything like this. It's a really lovely foreword, actually, talking about the early days. She met Peter. Alcestis is Peter Gray's wife, or partner, and certainly one. Well, yes, the other half of Scarlet Imprint, right? And they met as he was writing this, so this was very much a catalyst for their for their union. Yeah, it's just a really, really nice introduction. And then Peter Gray gets into the heart of the matter. So he gives a history of this mysterious figure, this whore of Babylon who rides the beast with the 7 heads in the Book of Revelations. And so first of all, going into, yes, the Christian understanding of it. And as I was saying, he's quite early in his writing, and his frustrations with the Christian attitude is very, very loud. Nevertheless, that if I would say that if you agree with him, then that's not going to be a problem, and if you don't agree with him, then I was certainly able to see through that to the fascinating information that he's putting forward here. The actual background of this figure who, well, within Christian realms is not really explored at all. She's just there, and it's just assumed that she's a baddie, and that's it. And here he gives kind of a background of why she's right there at the center of the Book of Revelations, giving her probable history from before this particular cameo, let's say, and the implications of the way she's been treated in that particular situation, the implications for us today, the implications for our ecology, the implications for our sexual liberation, or lack thereof, and so on. I disagree with some of what he says, and I agree with a lot of what he says, and at no point while reading this did I feel like I was wasting my time. Everything that I disagreed with nevertheless gave me pause for thought, and everything that I agreed with was, well, obviously nice, but there was so much that I just didn't know, right? I've learned so much in this book. He's just like with Lucifer Princeps, you could say. I think of this as an introduction to a character who is so demonized that people don't like to think about them, and yet once you do think about them and start doing a little research, the benefits from knowing more are incalculable, regardless of what your faith is, and I would possibly say more so if you consider yourself a Christian. These are aspects of one's faith which need to be clear, right? So I'm incredibly grateful to Peter Gray for this wonderful book. It can be shocking at times. It can be it's thought-provoking throughout, certainly. There's a rage that comes through, but it's a healthy rage, and it's an invigorating rage. So that's definitely an aspect of what's in here. There we are. I think that's all I'm going to talk about for the moment. The book is going to be in print forever, from what I can tell. These nice editions obviously are going to run out pretty soon if they haven't run out already, actually. I'm certain that at the time of recording there are still plenty of the Pearl editions available, but yes, they do run out pretty quickly. However, if you order directly through Scarlet Imprint, they send you an EPUB and a Mobi, just ebook version of it as a one-time download, so that if you're worried about getting fingerprints over your lovely copies, then you can read it on your Kindle. I really appreciate that all the time, of course. And then yes, there's the paperback edition, which will stay in print. And yeah, I strongly recommend this one. I think that it's clearly the start of a series of books, Lucifer Princeps also being a part of it. And there's another book which actually was released just this week called The Two Antichrists. So yeah, have a look out for that. So clearly Peter Gray is very interested in talking about the villains of Christianity, and inquiring deeper into areas where many people feel uncomfortable inquiring. And I certainly feel like my knowledge, understanding is much richer for having read this. So yeah, thank you very much, Peter. Okay, thanks very much everyone for watching the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. Thanks as always for your attention and your kind support. See you very soon with another video. Take care. Bye bye.